8,530 pounds as we see it here today, which is pretty much chock full of every single upgrade that's possibly available on this model. 8335 Rockwood here at Haylet RV of Coldwater, Michigan. And what amazes me is how they continue to push the boundaries. This thing's incredibly popular. It already has, arguably, if not definitively, the highest equipment trim package available within its class. But then they continue to raise the bar by doing things like including a tire pressure monitoring system standard on the Rockwood Signature Series. That is incredible to me. Now, this is definitely a big, long model that is exceptionally park friendly, but at 8,530 pounds, it's also very portable. So it's kind of what I like to refer to as a portable park model. So if you do plan on doing a little bit of traveling in this thing that I call a portable park model, what's nice is it's super travel friendly. And that's what's really cool. This thing's good if you do move around. It's good if you are stationary. Like, you can get up to that sink, you can get to the vast majority of your cabinetry, not 100% of it, but you can still get to that refrigerator. You can get to all of your seating, really. Any of the, I guess you call it important seating for traveling. But you also maintain access to the bathroom in that door. And pretty much the bedroom. I say pretty much because of this extra large closet. They did kind of a motorhome style thing. The closet jumps over the bed a little bit. So if you are going to make a travel stop, be a little bit careful. The last thing you want to do is jerk in the middle of your sleep and put your foot through that mirrored wardrobe right there. But that being said, like someone my size, I could still sleep over here. My wife, smaller than me, could sleep over there if we had to in transit. Absolutely no problem. And I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I get really numb to RVs. I'm in tens of thousands of these things, you know? And after a while, you just kind of go numb to it. But every single time we get in a Rockwood Signature, I always have to take a step back and just go, wow. There really is just something special about them. It's very intangible, but it's definitely present. And I think one of the things that separates the Signature Series from almost everything else out there is the interior height, because it's kind of like in a house. A 7-foot ceiling would be enough, right? But an 8-foot ceiling feels better, and it looks fancier, doesn't it? Well, most travel trailers have a 6.5-foot sidewall. Sometimes they have a vaulted ceiling. If you're lucky, a trailer has a 6'9" sidewall and a linear interior ceiling. And Rockwood said, we can do both. So you have a 6'9" sidewall, which is 3 inches taller than industry standard, and then you have this like 2.5 inch mini vaulted ceiling. So you get the best of both worlds. And it gives it such a big, expansive look and feel. It also doesn't hurt the fact that they have among the most, if not the most, lights per square foot inside their RVs that you will ever find anywhere. You know, in the slide, under the kitchen cabinets, everywhere. I mean, you will never have a problem making it light and bright in here. And as long as we're looking up at the ceiling, might as well point out the fact that our air conditioning ducts are, first of all, double ducted. You can see 2 AC runs, A and B. But secondly, these air vents right here can open and turn so that you always get good airflow exactly where you want, whenever you want. Now, air conditioning in a big Signature model can vary wildly from unit to unit, because standard is a single 13,500 BTU air conditioner. You can upgrade to 2 of those. You can put a 15 BTU on the main air unit. You can do a lot of different things. So always verify against the manufacturer's build sheet that the one you're looking at has what you want. Speaking of which, this video could vary dramatically from the one that we have in stock. Again, this one is basically about as loaded as one could possibly get one of these. We have applied the wood print floor option as compared to the standard kind of stone print. We've got the chocolate fabric decor, which has a little bit of a richer look to it. And we also upgraded into the maple hardwood cabinet door upgrade versus the slate wood, which is flat panels. So almost everything that could possibly be done in this is done. We will come back to the seating in a minute. One of the things I want to look at is right after I get done telling you how we've optioned the crap out of this thing, you're looking at the standard booth dinette, and you're thinking, why didn't you flip this out with a set of table and chairs? And there's a very good reason for it. Table and chairs is an option. We're happy to get one built for you with it. We might have one in stock with it. But Rockwood does one of the best booths I've ever seen. their booth has easy access storage. It's got an all aluminum skeleton. The table's free floating. It only does everything. And this is what I'm talking about. So first of all, keeping the standard booth retains extra storage below that seating that table and chairs would otherwise lose out on. Now, if I get over here and I lift up one of these cushions, what's really amazing is you get to see, there's my finger hold, everything that Rockwood builds is an all aluminum skeleton. It's the reason that this big trailer is only just over 8,500 pounds, despite having effectively every option you could pretty much add to it, again with the exception of the table and chairs that we're looking at. Now, a lot of people like the freestanding table and chairs because it allows you to move your chairs to your own personal level of comfort. But the free-floating table that we're looking at here essentially lets you do the same thing, but this table can also be used in other ways. It can fold down into a sleeper, as we'll see in a minute. You could take it outside for picnic use. You could use it like a coffee table for conversation time. So this is one of the rare instances where I feel in a couple's camper, this seating setup is superior due to the intense level of flexibility that it has within it. Now, another thing that it helps, again, it's extra storage, but I like that Rockwood's still one of the last of the Mohicans that's including storage above their slide seating. I would be surprised if that continues. I think it's a smart feature, but I think a lot of first-time RVers don't appreciate how much storage is or is not in RVs. I've actually heard that Rockwood might be considering getting rid of these overhead cabinets. And I would love your feedback to pass along to the factory. Do you think they should keep these cabinets, even though it means kind of standard size windows, or should they give you bigger windows at the loss of the overhead storage? Neither's the wrong answer. It's just a matter of which one I think is right for more people. And I'm curious to know what you think there. And I also love the symmetry here. So you've got doors that open out either way, and then you have a flip-up door in the middle for easy access. And you might notice how all these cabinet doors are hidden hinged, so that you've got a nice, clean look about this thing. And if there's one thing you want in a front kitchen, it's that big window. And Rockwood has been doing this better, longer, stronger than just about anybody else. When every other manufacturer quit doing front windows, Rockwood was still doing it. They were just doing it better, so they never had problems. Rockwood was the first really to incorporate that front windshield in their travel trailers. If you like, you notice how everybody and their brother's doing front windshields now. You can thank Rockwood for setting the tone on that. I love how they give us this big space down here for waste baskets. On the right-hand side, you might notice they're using a larger 22-inch oven as opposed to the tiny little 16-inch. And that is the difference between actually being able to cook in that thing or not. Over here, this is also just a good sign of just the super high-class level of the Rockwood that we're in. These hidden hinges, that's another thing. They won't kind of like fall closed on you. You saw how it wanted to open back up at me here. They are using soft close drawers right here. And that is something that you don't tend to run into until you are at a pretty high-level towable RV. Very few towable RVs, even fifth wheels, offer something like that. You've got legit pantry space over here right in the kitchen area, and you've also got power outlets that are very easy to access. You've got a pair from there, and as I scan across the windshield, across the solid surface countertop, you can see you've got more outlets up in that corner. And I think that that up there would make an absolutely ideal little like coffee station. It's perfectly sized for like a little Keurig or something like that. Now, in addition to having a flush mount stovetop to maximize prep space, you've also got solid surface matching flush mount sink covers. And in a way, it's almost a disservice because it does such a good job of masking these big stainless basin sinks that they have in these Rockwood signatures. And if you listen, you can hear the difference between real hardware and plastic hardware, and you're not getting any plastic hardware in here. Now, this is a very easily underappreciated thing right here. Rockwood is using like a, 45% larger microwave wherever they can. They can't do it in every single model, but most have a 1.3 cubic foot versus a 0.9 cubic foot. And as the little sticker indicates, you can actually put a normal sized dinner plate in there. As I back up, I want to point out we've applied the optional residential refrigerator to this one, and that does have a 1,000-watt inverter to keep your food from spoiling going down the road. In my fifth wheel videos, mostly fifth wheels, not always, but mostly fifth wheels, I'm very outspoken about the fact that we generally include gas electric refrigerators in most of the campers that we have here at Haylett RV. We actually go to some pretty extreme measures to do that. So why did we go for the residential fridge in this one? Well, remember how I said this is primarily going to be for park use? We have found that these big Rockwood signatures tend to be like retirement trailers. There's people who want something that is like a high-class fifth wheel, but they don't want a big, heavy, expensive fifth wheel with the extra steps going up the stairs. So the Rockwood signature trailers really kind of fill that role, and they tend to, again, be very popular for people who are not towing. So this big fridge makes a lot of sense here, and it significantly increases the total cubic foot of storage space. Now, we've got a bit of a pantry-tainment center going on here. We've got some storage above that TV, as well as this handy, almost like second pantry right beside over here. Down below, we've got an electric space heating fireplace. Has a nice little remote control. Extra heat without burning up all of your propane. And this is where it becomes easy again to miss the detail orients of the, is that a phrase? Detailed nature of the Rockwood Signature series. So it's a Bluetooth DVD stereo, and like, big deal, right? Everything has that, right? Rockwood uses a higher grade chipset in these things, in the Signature series specifically. It has a true dual zone entertainment. You can be watching something inside and having all of the speakers inside reflect what you're watching, while actually having something like a stereo station playing on your outdoor speakers. You can have two separate forms of entertainment going on at once. Now, again, with the technology, it's easy to miss the fact that you can get a free app from the App Store, which is what they're trying to tell you up here, that you can download an app, and your phone has to get hooked up to this thing, you have to be within like 6 inches of this pad. And what it'll let you do is anything that you can do on this pad, you could do right off your phone. But what I like about the proximity sync is the unruly neighbor kid who's maybe not being monitored very well a couple campsites down. They can't sync to your Rockwood, and they can't mess with your stuff. Only you have access to it. This also has the Wi-Fi Ranger system. We'll talk more about that very briefly up on the roof. I'll give you a peek at it, but long story short, it's a built-in router and signal access repeater. Now, entertainment. TV is already on an angle. It's very easy to see. It's primarily focused directly toward the theater seating that we'll see in a second, but it doesn't have to be. That TV can swing right out. You could make it face the forward-facing sofa a little more directly, and I tell you where that's really handy. Like, it's nice. If you're going to use this, this is a great conversation floor plan. What I mean by that is, like, if you're sitting, I'm going to guess you're probably going to occupy the theater seats. That's kind of, it feels like the primary owner's seat in this floor plan. You can still get a good shot at that screen, but it's a little more guest-friendly when you tilt that TV out, even a little bit. Not all the way like I just did. You don't have to quite crank it like that. But it gives you a nice little spot where you're just around the corner, you can chit-chat, and it also allows you the ability, if you do have a guest, like let's say you've got adults or grandkids or whatever, and they're not quite ready to call it quits, but it is about time to crawl into bed and start winding down. This is exceptionally, like, bedtime friendly. And this right here is where the 8335 really starts to separate itself from the also popular 2608 BS Rockwood Ultra. This is the trim package above. It includes this whole extra hide-to-bed sleeper sofa right here that the Ultralite cousin does not. It also has a king bed instead of a queen. So there are some significant variances between the two that really do kind of keep them both separated and well-defined. We do like to try to keep both on hand here at Haylet RV. They're both popular, but both, again, different enough. I love the shiplap accent wall behind that hide-to-bed also, though. Now, all the windows will open for airflow, and they also all have dual-section day and night shades. So that's very handy when we are, doing some living room sleeping in here, some guest sleeping. But look what's going on with that theater seat. You see how that one chair can still fully recline? Where that's really nice is like in a situation with my family. If I go camping with my parents in their fifth wheel, wife and I sleep on the hide-a-bed just fine. The kiddo can sleep on that theater seat. She's like 8 years old. She loves it. Kids' bones are still kind of bendy. I would wake up cracking like a plastic tray or something like that. When you get those sandwich trays from Walmart and they make all that crackly sound. That's how I would feel if I slept in one of these. But kids, they do just fine. So you might also notice we have removable little swivel stands on the side here. So it's a nice place to set a drink, a dinner plate. Although if you don't want to use them, you don't have to, because you'll notice that down here You've also got built-in cup holder armrests, and this also acts as your control panel for the heat and massage functions. There is also a little LED light inlay inside of that so that you can see your cup holders in the evening. And then, as I said, one of the cool things about that dinette right there is that it does basically double itself as an additional sleeping space. And from here, we're going to find ourselves in a hallway dual entry bathroom. You can see the bedroom from here. There's a sliding privacy door for that. Obviously, I'm standing in the hallway door right now. And you've got good dedicated linen space. Now, someone is going to look at this and go, what a bunch of dummies. They put a hinge on the same side as the handle. Well, that's completely intentional, because that is not storage. That is an access point to things like your water pump for winterizing. But Rockwood really dresses it up so that it looks very clean. All you do is just unscrew the 2 hinge screws on that side, and voila, you have access. You have to unscrew screws to get to access points anyway, so it makes sense. Big dedicated linen cabinet means you don't have to do the nudist streak through the RV to get to a towel that you might have forgotten. And true to form, Rockwood is including a nicer Max Air vent fan up here right from the factory level. So you don't have to pay extra to get an upgrade, nor do you have to pay extra to have a roof vent cover, because as that little hang tag is kind of indicating, it includes one from the factory. Now, even that work is factory guaranteed. That's what I like about it. It's not just nicer. It's not just cheaper because you don't have to pay to do it aftermarket, but it's also factory warranted. Remember, we have a taller sidewall plus a ceiling vault. If you're one of these people like, man, I'm like 6 foot 7 inches tall, a Rockwood Signature will actually fit you in the shower. You are going to be comfortable in here. It's actually nice. And I love the larger glass enclosed radius shower. And something I still need to point out here, a lot of brands don't do this. They include a stone cast sink in their bathrooms. And this is actually quite large. You can see how adult hands can really get in here. It's surprisingly big. It's deceptively deep. And it gives adults a place to actually, wash hands and not just kiddos. Then they do this extra little thing, like there's good counter space around it, but they include that extra little shelf right here with those sort of like built-in toothbrush holders and things like that. It's just all those little devils in the detail things that separates Rockwood. And another one of my favorite ones to talk about is something simple, but the fact that they have a magnet holdback for their bedroom door. Just so that if you want to leave this open, you want to enjoy some extra breeze through, maybe coming through that hallway or whatnot, you can. They're just really good at those details. As I mentioned in the living room, you can outfit the air conditioning system in these multitude of different ways. You can see that we do typically build a big thing like this with the optional second air conditioner to really maximize your airflow. And when you do it from the factory, both air conditioners are tied into the shared central ducting. If you're sensitive to flashing lights, please be careful. You can see that they use a really good lighting package in here. They could have done 2 lights. They did 4, and then they did 3 more within the slide box itself. I'm going to talk about this more outside, but one of the things I want to really point out here is that they're using a deeper bed slide, and that allows you to have full overhead storage while still having, sidewall windows and everything else, and they're using a very wide bed slide. This has a 70 by 80 king bed, yet we have side stands built into the slide box with power outlets right next to them on both sides of the bed. You might also see that hanging, kind of propaganda tag above the bed right there. That is indicating this does have a Serta mattress. So it is a vastly superior bedding situation as compared to what you get in most towable RVs. And just like the dinette, anything that they build in-house at Rockwood basically has an aluminum skeleton. Any sort of furniture that they're building is going to have an all aluminum skeleton. You can see how this acts like a storage chest. We can get to the storage that's accessible from outside under the headboard, or we can get into it from here. But you really won't have to lift the bed up that much, even though they made it easy, because the interior storage section slides open to you. And that bigger, deeper bedroom slide also means that we have more floor space in here where we can actually get dressed. And speaking of dressed, check out all the dresser space that we have down here. This is absolutely awesome. Travel trailers don't usually get this level of storage capacity, but it's something that Rockwoods do very, very well. They've done this bedroom closet arrangement for several seasons, and it just keeps working. And this is great. All that closet space like that, the mirrors to make everything look open, all the dresser drawers, this is great. And if they would have just stopped there, it would have been enough. I love the fact that they didn't. I love the fact that they still have soft touch drawers even in here, and that's a key little detail. It's easy to miss. A lot of brands that have soft close, like kitchen drawers, they stop when they get to the bedroom because it's a little more expensive. But they also didn't stop just there. Last year, they revised this whole closet arrangement and they made it combo washer dryer capable. Yet you can see that we obviously still have full hanging storage in here. It's tall enough you can use the bottom of the closet like an additional shelf. But if you really are planning on staying in this thing for a long time, it's going to be like your Florida snowbird home, you know, for instance, if you're from the Midwest here, because there's a rule in Michigan that, like, once you're retirement age, we kick you out and you have to go to Florida, I think, anyway, you get the idea. The point is, though, if you are looking for a more full-time capable RV, but you just don't want a big fifth wheel, you want it all on one deck instead of those extra steps, that's exactly where these Rockwood signatures come in. This is like hand-built for you. The first thing that is very obvious out here is the upgrade from the traditional sort of champagne and brown exterior to the very modern, sharp-looking white with charcoal accents that you're seeing here. Not only does it just absolutely look killer, but I think it'll also be cooler in direct sunshine because lighter color skin packages tend to soak less heat from the sun, and it's really funny how what was old is suddenly new again. Campers just all used to be like white exterior, and then all of a sudden here, white is back, baby. We've got that beautiful spaceship looking signature front end on this thing with that automotive inset windshield that is a painted cap, but they still maintain, it's almost like a spray-on truck bed liner stone guard at the base, so that if you are towing, or the short time you are towing, this thing continues to stay in good condition. You might notice right up top we have applied the optional slide awnings here to reduce heat absorbed into the slides, just like sitting under your patio keeps you cooler, keeps the slides cooler. Also reduces care, maintenance, and upkeep required on this RV. As we get a little bit closer though, you might notice we have also applied the optional automatic leveling system to this. These systems have gotten better, more reliable, to the point that we are far more comfortable with them than we had been in years past when we did not add a lot of these to trailers. Especially on something like this, you know, if you do tend to move, being a portable park model, you'll appreciate the ease of setup. But the other thing is the jacks on these are stronger. It will feel like this thing is absolutely on a concrete slab once those jacks get down. So the trailer won't have any of that herky-jerkiness. Now, I probably mentioned this inside. If not, I meant to. Note the depth of these slides. Like you're used to seeing a big, deep living room super slide. But look at the back bedroom slide. You see how it's the exact same full, like 3-foot depth? A lot of times, manufacturers will go with only like a 18-inch shallow bedroom slide, which is just enough to say, yep, we have a bed slide. But the Rockwood one is bigger, which means it has more coverage on that sidewall to grab more air into those side breeze windows. Not to mention the fact that it gives you a larger bedroom when it's open for more room to be able to walk around, get dressed, etc. In between the two slides, we've got all of our hookups right here. It's a little difficult to see because it's in the shadows right now, but our drain system is right in front of that bed slide. This is the back of the bathroom that we're looking at, basically, and you'll see that our water heater, our shower, all that stuff is there. Now, as we're passing the storage that goes under that bedroom slide, you might notice how all of the exterior baggage doors on this will have a nicer metallic, not plastic slam latch. They have protected hinges. You can see how there's a seal over that to keep the water out. And we are magnet holdbacks on these to make getting in and out simple and easy. And on the Signature series, you actually upgrade to a higher gloss fiberglass. You can basically almost see a reflection in that, as compared to a conventional rolled fiberglass called Phylon that you find on most lightweights, including most of the rest of the Rockwood Ultralite series, including basically the Ultras and the Minis. If you don't know what that means, give us a call, because trim packages in this business can be very confusing sometimes for folks. See that we have frameless windows anywhere but slide sides. You don't want a tilt open frameless window on a slide side because, you know, you could break it if you close the slide out. We are, of course, backup camera ready. Rockwood was, again, one of the first manufacturers to really lead that charge and be ready for rear observation cameras. And I bet now that they're doing that tire pressure monitoring system on these Signatures, I bet you will see more and more and more brands find ways of including some form of that kind of technology somewhere onto their various RVs. And over here is really where the park-friendly nature of this floor plan comes in handy. So, you know, there's no, like, checkbox where you can say, yeah, I want an RV that's park-friendly. That's kind of subjective. But what I mean by that is that you have no slides over here on the campsite. So here in the Midwest, and I know around different areas, but especially here in the Midwest, man, if people are going to be at, like, a seasonal campsite where they don't move their trailer, well, they like to, like, build a deck next to the trailer. And this is super deck friendly because there's no slides or anything really obstructing our campsite. Plus, you look at our entry doors in relation to our awning. You can easily hop in and out of both doors even on a rainy day and not get drizzled all over the place. Back here we have gas grill connect, so that if you want to do your grilling outside, and right above that, ba-bam, outdoor TV hookups. And you have to say it that way. You have to add the ba-bam, otherwise it's... That was our trailer check-in guy, Jody, inside the trailer. I didn't know he was in there. All right, let me get myself composed here. Bam! Okay, so we have dual entry. Moving on from there, I guess. I don't really know how to segue away from that one. We're just going to move on. We have dual entry doors. And what's cool on these Rockwoods is they're treated exactly the same. They're both wider 30-inch doors. They both are anti-slam. They both have the same big handle. And this is something that even fifth wheels don't typically do. Dual 0G MORryde stable steps. And if you're not familiar with what that means, here's a sample. So they don't just put the nicer stable steps on. It's great that they do that, but they use the strutted version, which will hold its own weight. So that does a couple things for us. Obviously, it prevents you from dropping this on your head, on your foot, on your dog, on your grandkid. You get the idea. But it also means that adjusting these foot pegs right here is really easy, because you don't need to try to, like, hold it up with your knee and then pull the pin and then adjust it with the other hand and then put the pin back in. You can have both hands free, one hand to pull the pin, one hand to adjust, one hand to reinsert the pin. It is just that easy. Over here is an easier place to get to take a look at the suspension system that Rockwood uses. As opposed to a leaf spring system, they have a four-wheel independent torsion, axle, and suspension system. And if you don't know what any of that means, long story short, you know what the word four-wheel independent means. You know, they're not stuck together. So they can climb over bumps and jumps and uneven ground more evenly, and they can pivot and turn better, and especially at higher speeds, this suspension system will help this trailer basically track like it's on rails. And I can get more specific than that. If you'd like, give our team a call and we can help explain this. But once again, I do love just the huge patio space that we have on this thing. It's awesome. And if you want, you can manually pull down, tilt, and lock those arms, but they do have an auto rain dump feature as well. Now, if you look right up at the base of the awning, you can see that little metallic hump. That is the optional aluminum shield for the awning. I think that's not the technical name for it, but at this point, I'm still so rattled by Jody yelling "bam" at me that I can't even get my crap together. But the point is, when the awning's rolled up, most of the awning's protected, but not the base of the awning. The base of the awning always is subject to rain, wind, snow, weather, you know. Well, now we don't have that. Now even the base of the awning is protected, so that the whole darn thing, when you're not using it, is shielded up. And it is possible for maybe a little bit of water to still blow down that tube, but sun, rain, snow, that kind of thing, the awning never gets direct exposure, and the base of the awning is usually where the failures happen. And if the base fails, well, the whole awning's pretty much worthless now, isn't it? And at this point in the video, there's a lot of trailers where I say, look, it's got a walkable roof. And that's about it. But on a Rockwood, there's a lot more to talk about up here. For instance, this is our bathroom vent fan. You can see how they have a MaxxAir roof cover right on that MaxxAir vent fan, right from the factory. They're also using a different cap on their black tank exhaust. That's what this pipe is right here. Your black tank has to have basically a chimney so that the gases don't cause expansion and backflow into your RV. And this is basically like an inverted airfoil. And long story short, what that essentially means is that it will suck more of those potential gases out of the black tank and exhaust them more quickly. It helps prevent any sort of backflow of odors into your RV. The manufacturer of that cap says you don't need to treat your black tank because it works so well. I tell you, I don't know that I believe that, and I don't know that I'll ever find out, because I don't know that I'll ever try, because I will probably always treat my black tanks. But theoretically, I guess you don't have to. Also, while I'm up here, I want to point out the fact that while a lot of RVs have a walkable roof, the laminated structure of this walkable roof, it feels so much more solid. Like, one of the things we talk about, like on this open range, just like a Jayco, they have, they call their Magnum Truss roof system. It's rated for like a ridiculous, like 4,800 pounds. So it's got a super duper heavy rating, technically more than this Rockwood, which, although this has like well over 2,000 pound roof load rating or whatever, which is plenty, but this feels more solid. You never feel any deflection of the decking. Even for a big guy like me, it feels very comfortable, very secure up here. Also, this is our Wi-Fi Ranger, the new Sky 4 system, which basically has an extra antenna for better range, reach, reception, reliability. This is effectively a built-in router for your RV, and if you're not sure with what all that can do, then just give our team a call. Obviously, our check-in guys inside still checking things out, still messing with me. I don't believe on purpose, though. So we've got our standard air conditioner up front here. And remember, on this one in this video, we have added the optional second centralized air conditioner into the bedroom. On a big thing like this with a bed slide, I think that it's a pretty good idea. Although the white skin package that we've applied to this one will organically help keep additional heat out of the RV. And there you have it, guys. Hopefully that's a good idea for you to get started. If you have a couple more specific questions, don't hesitate to give our team a call here at Haylett RV. But short of that, know that we don't do hidden dealer fees, but we do everything else. So whether it's hitching pieces, parts, trades finance, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything in between, we do all the rest, except for those hidden fees. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone. Bam!